Peter, what's up, bro?
What's going on?
Thank you for coming in and just I know I'm imposing all this romantic scenery on you. It's friendship, bro. It's friendship, and I'm hoping that as people listen to our conversation, they can relate to your life and what you do and what you're passionate about and God's calling on your life. Before we begin, can't have
Without the
the
mate.
conversation without the tea. You know what I'm saying? Without the mate.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking? What are you drinking?
I know your mate has caffeine, but I like to stick with the traditional coffee.
Yes.
So I could just have a nice coffee, cream, sugar. Completely basic.
Yeah. What do you think came first, coffee or tea?
Actually, tea first. Because tea was medicine.
Mm.
Coffee is more of a treat because they used to eat the coffee beans rather than actually make coffee.
So what's traditional then? Hey, maybe it's tea. I'm kidding, man. I don't know. I think for America, yeah, coffee is the traditional drink. For the world, I don't know.
For the
'Cause
world,
you
I
got
think it'd be
teas
tea.
everywhere. You got different teas everywhere. Bro, I know that Dunkin' wasn't your first choice. We tried.
Yeah, but
It was closed. So here we are, man. So tell me a little bit. What are you passionate about, man? What gets you going?
well, work-wise, I've found a love for production. So video, camera, photos, editing. Usually I'm standing on that side,
Yeah.
not here.
Yeah, right. And you do a really good job. So when did you realize that passion?
Actually, it was 2020 that brought about that passion because before that, I was still hunting. I had tried psychology and I couldn't commit to another 10 years of my life just for school.
Mm-hmm.
So I switched from psychology. I tried coding. I could do it, but you know when you can do something, but you won't love it.
Yeah.
It was just for the money. I was like, nope, it makes no sense. So then I was in a bit of a limbo.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what am I gonna do? And then I have a friend who is into all of this production and photography.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, I'll go out on a shoot with you, just see what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love.
Mm.
So I went, tried to get my own camera, but 2020 also has taught me that mistakes aren't like nails in your coffin.
Yeah.
Mistakes are simply stepping stones toward what you're going to be because no one's perfect. There was only one perfect man,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all going to make mistakes.
I think that's critical, man, because you found your passion, and I'm guessing you weren't the guy behind the camera hitting record. I'm guessing you're the guy holding up like the boom mic, like doing all the labor that no one really likes to do. It's like, oh, I need to white balance my camera. Peter, go stand over there. And then that brought about the passion for being that actual guy behind the camera, calling the shots and making something look aesthetically pleasing, according to what you find to be pleasing to the eye, right? Aesthetic. But I love that you mentioned that mistakes aren't the nail in your coffin. They're actually steps to move forward because you started off on a career, right? You started going to college to be a psychologist, and you found that wasn't something that appeased your you.
Yeah.
and I think that's really critical, man, because we're talking about this past month, a couple of months, we've been talking about coming together and being allies to each other and thinking about community, thinking about coming together. We have to be able to accept each other's mistakes, and not only that, but you were able to grow from yours It's not to say that, hey, you studied something, you got to stick with that until, you're graduated and then you go and you get a career in it. No, if you find that you're passionate about something along the way, it's okay to take a detour. It's okay to find a new direction, to make a new turn. I love that, man. And so what sparked that? What sparked that new turn, that transition in your life?
Well, it was COVID shutting down everything.
Mm-hmm.
I had ended up losing my job, wasn't collecting unemployment, didn't get a stimulus check. So I was literally just stuck at home day after day after day. And you go and social media will show you all content creation blew up.
Hmm.
So then I was like, okay, if this is what's blowing up and I went out and I saw that I liked it, how can I apply it? And then I went and tried to do it the wrong way. Ended up making another mistake, which then I took a step back. I was like, okay, you've been doing this all wrong. Why? Because you've been trying to do it yourself. You need to sit down, you need to realign your priorities, and you need to move, but move with God. Because there are a lot of times where there's something that we want, we try to make the path when God already has a path for us. So there's times where you need to stop, you need to open your eyes, ask Him to help you see, and then follow that. And you were talking about allies and community. I made my mistakes. I was stuck without a job, and the church was here for me. They were like, yeah, for sure you can come in here. There were days where I was literally just taking pictures of everything. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, the stage set, you want to take pictures of it? Sure. Hey, it's like 9 o'clock, but go ahead, record something. And here is where you guys gave me the chance to get the experience, to fine tune, to experiment. Yeah. Because there's plenty of programs where it's like, I don't like that. Can we record again? And you guys have always been, yeah, sure, no problem. So for me, this community that I found here is something that's truly helped me grow in my walk with God and simply as a person.
Yeah. No, and that's true. I mean, literally, Peter, I feel like I've only known you for a couple of months, right? But these last, I've known you for a few months, but these last couple of months, I think that seeing you here every day has really kind of fostered, at least for me, a friendship. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that you mentioned that is key to every young person, to every young adult, to every collegiate, to every high schooler, really, is this sense of like opportunity, that the space was made for you to be given that opportunity, right? And at times we tend to, and I don't know if you're familiar with this, we tend to say we have this available, but we don't really give the opportunity. We just say that it's there. And I remember, man, I love this about you, that you're not very, like if you have an opinion, you're not very shy about it. And but you say it respectfully. And here's where I'm going is, you came onto the social media team, correct? And there's so many ideas, there's so many things that we're doing now that are because either you had the idea or you perfected the idea that someone else put on the table. And I think that it's key for us to be able to, as a community, come together and not only give opportunity, but give voice, right? And mm-hmm. So at least I believe that you have a voice within that team. And I hope you feel that way,
yeah.
Right? And so, if you don't mind me probing, mm-hmm. Would you mind sharing with us what the mistake was, perhaps, and then what was your experience like that you're like, wow, is this what God is like?
Well, actually, I was given the opportunity to go back to work. Mm-hmm. I remember it was first 2 weeks back, putting in over 40 hours, working, and then that paycheck came back and it said $400. And I looked at it and I was kind of triggered. Mm-hmm. I was already in a hole of debt, not working for a good 3 months, those bills piling up. And granted, we were lucky that a lot of collectors were like, hey, okay, we understand COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give you a few months leniency. But then
Right.
to be doing all that work and then not see, like not be able to see the reward of the work,
Yeah.
it snapped something in me. And it snapped something in me because I was already away from where I needed to be with God. Because for years, I had been on and off at church. I've been coming to temple, technically speaking, for about 5 years. But physically here in the building, I would come, I'd sit upstairs in the corner, listen to the sermon, go home. And it got worse when I got my car, because then I would just drive to church and I'd think about going in, consider it, and then me sitting in my car so long considering it would be, oh, church is over? Okay, drive back home.
Wow.
And I was so far. So then when I saw that, I snapped, and I ended up making the mistake and trying to make the money the incorrect way. And it got me in trouble with the law.
Yeah.
So that really was the turning point, because me at home, I remember the night I got home,
Mm-hmm.
I had to quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
being exposed like that. So I had my room to myself. I was there, and I just had to talk with God, because I was like, I've had enough fighting it, because there's always going to be temptation for you to do what's wrong. And in that moment, I experienced it. I had the way the cartoons do, the angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other, but I ended up making the wrong choice. So I spoke to God. I'm like, please help me to make the right choice moving forward. Help me through this situation. And he did. The second day after I was home, all my unemployment checks for the entire 3 months came in at once. Helped me pay for whatever bills I needed to get driving again, because my license got suspended because being home, my insurance ran out.
Yeah.
So they suspended my license. I was able to get that back. I was able to pay for an attorney, and I was able to move forward. And the first thing I did, I remember when all those checks came in, I was like, excuse me, tithe and offering. Because this wouldn't have happened if you didn't sit down and pray. Because you've been waiting for 3 months, calling these people, harassing these people, and month after month, they were just like, yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And what made the whole experience worse is that I sat down with my coworkers. We all filed together. They were all collecting, and I wasn't. And I'm like, what is this? But I feel, and I had this conversation with Pastor Lafitte the other day, and I have to, he's the pastor. And he said it, he's like, you have to look at your entire experience as a whole. Because yes, there was mistake here, hardship there. But as a whole, God was simply bringing you back to him. Because you were out, you were on your own. Yeah, I was a manager at Starbucks for 2 years. Oh, I was working at Best Buy. I had a car. I was doing okay for a college student. Couldn't complain. I had a roof over my head, but I didn't have a relationship with God. So he's like, all right, like we love to say, he hit the pause button. He said, I'm happy that you think you're doing good, but you need to come closer to me. So he opened up the door, showed me something that I love to do, and on top of that, it's something that I can do for him to glorify him. So for me, this entire experience has just been his path. He saw the path I was heading on, and he put the detour sign. He's like, nope, come back.
Yeah.
So I hope that I can simply continue, and that he shows me the way.
Yeah. No, and I love the pause analogy. Apart from, pause that we have at church, the fact that, if we were to use that analogy, and the way that God kind of treats us is, instead of saying, "Oh, hold on, stop, eject, all right, new tape,"
Yeah.
you know, new DVD. I know this is kind of old for some that are watching, but that's how it used to be.
Yeah, you used to have to
yeah,
actually change
I
it.
guess instead of hitting the home button on your remote, you know, it's the pause, you know, and I love that, dude, because it's true. It's not that the and Pastor Lafitte, you know, his no, Pastor Lafitte, his comments to you are correct. It's not like everything that has happened before that point is all of a sudden void and doesn't matter and has no indication of who you've become as a person. No, all those things are still valuable to your story, to who you are as a person. And so God is not going to rewind and record over that. He's going to press pause and then press play again, because all those things sum up your story and your narrative as a person. All those things are valuable. Even if we look back at them, they say these were negative experiences. They added up to you being where you are right now with God and you know, with church and doing everything that you do. So tell me a little bit about, you know, we're talking about community, we're talking about, being allies, we're talking about coming together. How did you end up here doing so much for the church? How did that happen? What is it that you do for the church? Because I know a lot of people don't really know what Peter does. They just hear your name sprinkled in there, but I don't think that does it justice.
Well, I'm pretty much in, because I don't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to tell, because there'll be Sabbaths where, yeah, you know, Peter, great job. It's a team effort. I work with Ruben, I work with Marlon, Christine, Shaquan. We put the service together because now everything's online. So we're here recording, we're here doing recording voices, recording video, doing editing. That's
decorating,
organizing. We try to keep everything flowing.
Yeah.
I ended up here because I had texted Lafitte,
Mm-hmm.
who told me, he's like, just come. Like literally, just come. I will put you with who you need to be with. Just come here.
Yeah.
So after I quarantined, I came here and I met Ruben and Shaquan. And it was the first day I was sitting there with Ruben, and we were just recording a praise set,
Mm-hmm.
but I was timing it out. I guess it was with my hand or my foot,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just watching me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, okay. And he's like, oh, you have good timing.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, that sparked it. It's like, I can use you.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that,
that's always the case with Ruben, though. It's like you do anything, Ruben's like, "Oh, I can use you."
It's like, I see your talent. I'm gonna use you.
Yeah.
But no, and I personally, in those 2 weeks of quarantining, I did my research. I studied because I knew that this was what I was going to pursue. So coming into the church, I was like, oh, well, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wait, what? Okay, this is your job. For example, our live streaming. I'm sure everyone remembers the day we tried live streaming and it had completely died.
Yeah.
And we were here. I was here. And I was like, okay, time out. There's no excuse for this. There's no reason for this. I went, looked up. This is what we need. Okay, let's buy it. It's just, I don't know. Here I feel comfortable where I can give an opinion and not have to worry about, who are you? Be quiet, sit down. You're just here to do this.
Yeah.
It's more of, hey, I have a voice here.
Yeah.
And I can share it. And there will actually be, someone will listen and we can discuss about ideas. But that was pretty much, and after that, I just kept coming.
That's awesome, man. So what are your ideas for the future? What would you like to do? Where would you like to go? And And before you answer those things,
Mm-hmm.
think about what are either the experiences or the conversations that you've had either with family or with pastors or whoever, that have kind of propelled you to be like, okay, yes, I need to do that.
In all honesty, I'm hoping to be, especially with things moving toward the digital era,
Yeah.
everything becoming digital. I would love to be a production manager for a church.
Okay.
I would love to be doing what I love, but at the same time glorifying God.
Yeah.
Because yes, I could go out, production pays,
Mhm.
good, but I feel like when you don't have to work in the church, but there's just something different about when you work in the church. It's not so much as it gives you a different feeling, but it gives you a different perspective. Because especially when you come from the outside, you know what catches the attention of the outside. You can come into church and not change the principles, but change the way you deliver the message so that you can bring the people from the outside to the inside. Because yes, we can make programs that are aesthetically pleasing to our members. But Jesus said, I didn't come for you. I came to bring the sinners to me. It's not so much as making a program to keep the people who are already here happy. It's to make a program that can not only make them happy, but for them to be able to reach out and bring other people into the church.
Sure.
So for me, that's what I've seen that I want to do, because it combines what I love with a missionary type work.
Yeah. So basically, your next step might involve you leaving Florida, leaving Miami Temple. What kind of strengthens you to take that step?
Well, multiple conversations. I spoke with you and Lafitte. I spoke with my uncle who currently is up there.
Mm-hmm.
And in all honesty, a lot of praying and a lot of talking with God, because for example, I love what I do here,
Mm-hmm.
but I do what I do here because I'm here every day, a lot.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm a witness. Yeah.
so it's great to be here and do all this, but if this is going to be my career, I'm trying to look for different opportunities to where I can still devote all my time, but also have, I don't know the word. It's okay, I can edit this out.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I mean, you don't. This is good. This is candid, man. This is the best kind of footage. It's candid, man. I guess something that I would like for you to kind of mention. I don't know if you feel this way. When it comes to building a community, being a part of somewhere where you have a voice, and now you have to make the decision to leave in order for you to grow. Yes, the conversations perhaps with Lafitte, with myself, with Ruben or other people may propel you, but is there anything else that perhaps you are doing this for, to set like an example or something of that sort?
Well, for me personally, I don't know about setting an example, but I do in fact have a younger sister.
Okay.
So I guess I would be her example, to show her that sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone, step out of what is your niche, like
Mm-hmm.
your safe space,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can grow. And it's not to say that you can't go back. Granted, we don't want to move backwards, but
Right.
I can leave Miami Temple, but I can always come back. Why? Because I know that this is still a community of mine, a safe space where I can come back. But you can't be stagnant.
Yeah.
You have to move.
Yeah, and Moses left and came back, and
Mhm.
he did pretty well for himself. um, it's awesome that you mentioned this example that you're giving to your sister, because oftentimes the church, right? We ought to be an example, and we ought to be mission minded, but we don't show that. So what I mean by that is we end up coming together and creating these really large members of the church that meet in the same space, instead of like what you're doing is you had a community, you built community, now you're leaving on mission to somewhere else to create another community for yourself. And that example that you're showing your little sister is what I feel sometimes the church fails to do. It fails to demonstrate what mission and leaving your comfort zone, leaving your safe space for the sake of growth. We kind of oftentimes lack in that area, where we want our young people, we want our young adults to grow, right? But we've never really showed them how, at least not by example. And so I gotta say, man, I'm super proud of the fact that you're doing that, not just to further your career, but to further the impact that your life has on your sister, the example that will set for her, to be able to say, hey, I can leave this safe space, God's going to be with me, and I can create communities wherever I go. I think that's awesome, bro.
Mm.
You can drink your coffee, by the way.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah, no, you're good. Listen, Peter, I really enjoyed our conversation. Is there something that perhaps you want to tell me, or you want to tell the youth, the high schoolers and collegiates that may be watching our Vespers?
Well, I mean, something I would say is I don't want to say to get more involved in your church, but build your community here inside of your church, because it's great to give,
Mm-hmm.
but if you simply give one way, you eventually run out. But to build a community where you're not only giving but receiving, that's something that will last sometimes for a lifetime.
Wow.
Because I know that I can be instead of Huntsville, I can go to California, I can go to Washington, I can go to New York. But I know if I pick up my phone and I dial Lafitte, if I dial you, if I dial Ruben, I know that I'm going to get an answer, and that I'm going to have someone to talk to, because I've been here, and I've built a community here inside of the church, to where I know, hey, you need me, you call me. And if I need you, I know I can call you.
Yeah.
So that would be the one thing I'd say to the young people. It's like, don't be afraid. It doesn't have to be with, oh yeah, I'm 13, I'm gonna go build a community with somebody who's 50.
Yeah.
No, you can
Right.
build your community with your friends, but make sure that you are in fact building a true community, not a, hey, happy Sabbath, hey, walk away. No.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Well, it's Tuesday, so I just want to know how you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to know you better. I'm trying to make connections with
Mhm.
you. Oh, okay. Well, I'm doing this, and then a friendship grows.
Yeah. So making a community out of genuine friendships is what we should be after as young people. Man, Peter, I love that, bro. Words of wisdom. And like you said, bro, these nails or these mistakes aren't nails in your coffin, but they're stepping stones to growing as a person, to growing as a leader, and to growing as, you know, what God called you to be, as a son and daughter of
Of Him.
God. Yeah, of Him. Awesome, dude.